thanks for coming up this morning. Very early, but what a beautiful place. I've never been in Newcastle before, and literally on Wednesday afternoon, I sat in my hotel room working, watching people surf for 3 hours. And it was fantastic. It was the best 3 hours of work I have ever done. I'm the marketing manager. I also sit on our core innovation team, which means I have responsibilities around culture, around tool sets, around process, and sitting in on the projects that we do and mentoring that from a point of view. The presentation I've got for you, we've only got about 10 minutes, so it's really fast. Literally, I've put together a series of photos that I've personally taken at Planet Innovation over the last 18 months that I've been there. So it's a bit of a family album, and I'm going to hopefully use that to illustrate some of the points that I think have contributed largely to our success. So Planet Innovation, we're 4 years old. We're a product development company, which means companies come to us with an idea, and we help them take that to a product and take that to market. So that could be a big multinational in North America, a medical company, a high-tech company, or it could be a small startup in any part of the world. So we're doing a lot of product development, engineering and technical work for them. We're also doing a lot of commercial work for them as well. That's the back of Dave Mergen's head. Dave is a young guy that works for us. He wrote a great blog article on our website called How to Turn All Your Staff into Innovators. So if you get the chance, visit our website, check out Dave's article. There's also a picture of the front of Dave's head in that article as well, which he'd be pleased to know. So our focus is on developing these types of products. So we tend to focus our innovation and our goals around that. Here's an example of it's an imaging incubator. So in the IVF process, when you have the embryo, you put it in an incubator. This allows you to take photos at very high speed. In the past, you had to take the embryo out of that environment to take photos of it, and it was not great for the embryo. So this sort of breakthrough high-tech work are some of the products that we do. That's a smart home thermostat that talks to the devices in your house, learns what you do. It's kind of creepy, it's kind of cool all at the same time. Another IVF instrument. This helps the freezing process of IVF. So we're automating a lot of manual processes in laboratories and in engineering and industrial environments, just to give you a taste, and that's some cool tool. So, to do all of that, there's two main things we focus on: people and process. So we spend a lot of time trying to hire the right people. And for us, the right people have great skills. They're scientists, they're doctors, they've got PhDs, they're engineers, electronics, software, a great tool set. But the main thing we're after are people that think a certain way. That's Ben Druce, head of industrial design. So they're disruptive people by nature. They're challenging people. They ask a lot of questions. They can be difficult people to work with. They're people that turn up in an interview and halfway through they go, you know what, I'd really like it if I only have to work 3 days a week because I'm working in a yacht in my backyard that's going to run on algae fuel and I'm so close to finishing this project, and we're just looking going, we so want you in our company. So people that have side projects, that get distracted, that are thinking about running their own business some stage, we want them. And if we've only got you for 3 days a week for 2 years, that's fine. Because the value we will get from that type of thinking is so much more than 5 days a week of somebody with linear, conventional thinking. Sasha DeFeedy, she's our Chief Science Officer. She's got a PhD in haematology. She runs a lot of our commercialisation strategy. She works with companies on how to fund these projects, how to get grants. So a lot of multidisciplinary type of thinking. So we hire these people. Sorry, Paul, we do have a table tennis table. We try and have some fun. And then hopefully they enjoy their work as well. That's James Maraka. This guy's a 24-year-old electronics. I think we're the second job that he's had. We hired him. He was importing electronic parts from China, building up these kits, selling them off in packs. He had his own YouTube channel. He was running his little business. It's just so impressive for a kid that's 24 years old. We had to hire him. We didn't even have a job for him the day we hired him. But when you need to go find James Maraka, you can't. So we bring him in and we find something to do. I remember 2 weeks after James started, I've walked into the managing director's office and James is down on one knee and he's got this piece of kit out. It's some sort of contraption that was working. Stuart Elliott, our managing director, had wheeled his chair over and he was leaning over and these two were poking and prodding and pushing. And straight away, to me, that was the image of our culture. It wasn't slogans on walls or beanbags on the floor. It was leaders modelling behaviour. sent a very powerful message to James and to everybody else that you have the freedom to experiment, to play, to fail. It's a safe environment to do that. This was the first photo that I took at Planet Innovation. I hadn't even started. I get a phone call from Stuart who says, Rog, I know you're starting in 2 weeks' time, but why don't you come in tonight? Some of the team are hanging back. We've got a Eureka Club session. So the Eureka Club is an internal initiative we have where staff put forward their own ideas for businesses, for technologies, for service improvements. They get peer review, and those that survive the peer review get put forward to management, and then we support it with finances and resources to help them take that idea forward. And so I walk into this room and it's full of senior people, junior people, and they're working on how to harvest energy from a spinning wheel of a bicycle so that they can power lights, cameras, GPS tracking, a whole range of these technologies. It was phenomenal, all on their own time. Once again, the modelling of behaviour to send the message of what the culture is. This guy on the top right-hand side, Michael Joffe, put forward an idea to the Eureka Club around smart energy meters that talk to your smart meter and then go to the internet and zap down the cheapest energy plan and automatically put you on that. We turned it into a product, we turned it into a business. He's now running a spin-off enterprise as the general manager of that. So, we have the right people, and now I'll quickly go through the right sort of processes. For us, it starts with principles. A couple of overriding principles, and I'll go really quickly through them. Start with the end in mind. So set your goals. You need to have innovation goals that you're working towards. We like to turn things into problems. Whatever we're trying to improve, it's a problem. From that problem, we then break that problem into a series of small problems. So if it's a product we're developing, there's going to be a number of major things we have to do. And then we prioritise those problems from the toughest problem to the simplest problem. So you might have 15. Now, most people want to start here. As a consulting company, you want to start here because you can get your people working, you can earn revenue, you can show progress. It's fantastic. The client wants to start here because they want to see the product developing. They want to see things moving. Yeah? So you get halfway along and you think you're 50% complete. But if this is your toughest problem and your easiest problem and you're here, you are nowhere near 50% completing that challenge. So you know how this story ends. You spend 3 years and $30 million trying to develop a product. You complete 14 of the 15 problems. And if you can't solve this 15th problem, you have nothing. You have no product, you have no business, and it fails. And that's why so many products and businesses fail in our industry. You always start with the toughest problem. Which means for 6 months, you have very little to show for some of the work that you've done. So with the IVF instrument, we had to be able to hold an embryo in place and change nutrients and fluidics across that embryo. If we can't do that, we have nothing. So we spent 6 months doing that, and the client was frustrated. They wanted to see a box and colourful things and so forth. But as soon as we did that, the rest fell into place. Assume nothing. Talk to users, watch what they do, watch what they don't do. Don't design while innovating. As soon as you settle on a direction, it's very hard to back out of that. So if you're experimenting, continue to experiment and don't design. And reuse, to Paul's point, rather than reinvent. We do this all the time. Often there's a tiny bit of invention. The rest of it, we're reusing from different industries, different projects, different applications. So powerful. In support of the principles, we do have a process for ideation. We call it the BRIGHT process, B-R-I. It's a briefing, a research, immersion, the generation of ideas, which is often where people start, but the previous steps are really important. You harvest those ideas, you top select. And then to help us through that process, we use a set of tools. Again, we borrow them from companies like IDEO, Stanford D School, the TRIZ tool set. There's a whole bunch of tools available. And then we underpin it with a level of governance. So we measure that, the revenue and so forth. So, in close, we have clear goals, we hire the right people, we try and build a great culture, we support them with overriding principles, and we use a tool set to drive the process. And that's Stuart, our managing director. And we try and model the behaviour we want. That's how we do it at PI.